All right, I'm on my 4th raccoon call of the day. We got one that's getting into a customer's static vent up there. I'll show you a close-up, but I'll show you a way that you can determine if raccoons, or how raccoons are getting onto the structure. So you see this vinyl end cap for the siding? See how it's all marked up and dirty like that? And you got the paw prints of the raccoon going all the way up to the top. You can see how it's all dirty and marked up right there in the downspout too. And they're traveling right up there to get inside of that static vent. But squirrels actually started the problem, and then the raccoons took it upon themselves to make a bigger problem. And I'll show you what that looks like. And since we're out of bucket sets and 220s for the afternoon, I didn't anticipate this many calls today. So we're gonna go ahead and try the old traditional method with putting a baited trap up here right beside the entry point. And as you can see, the raccoons are definitely frequenting this roof with all the feces in the valley of the roof. So there's your 2 signs that raccoons are getting in. You can see real good right here, a muddy paw print. Have gotten chewed up by squirrels. And you can see that's the start of the problem. And they've also, I gotta use my pitch hopper on this roof, it's a little steep. But they've been chewing on all these vents, and they've even chewed up the boot on the pipe. So squirrels have definitely been in here for a long time. And raccoons just took advantage of the larger hole that they've made. And you can see this one's kind of lifted up a bit more. We got a large entry point that's plenty big enough for raccoons. And we got some raccoon fur. I don't know if you can see that, but raccoon fur stuck to the outside of it. So we know that's the hot spot. So I'm gonna show you guys how to set up a trap on a roof with the least amount of fasteners as possible, and the right way to seal them up after it's done. So that way we're not gonna have any water intrusion. As you can see, I've got a piece of flashing cut for the underneath of this trap, because once raccoons get caught, especially on the roof, they're gonna reach their hands out and they're gonna grab anything they can to try to attempt to escape. And I've had them, when I first started in this industry, tear off tons of shingles on the roof, and we're held liable for it. So to avoid that, we always got to put a base underneath of our trap. And I like to use flashing because plywood is a little bit too heavy to take up on every roof. I'm just, you know, kind of trying to be practical here. But make sure it's cut about a foot longer than the trap itself, so that way when they stick their arm fully out, they can't grab a hold of any shingles. We'll go ahead and set this tomahawk trap. And then what you want to do is you want to take your strips of harbor cloth and you want to kind of loop them through the bottom of your trap, so that way you have something to fasten to the roof without the trap sliding off the roof as well. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my piece of flashing set it right below our entry point, right? Now, before you put your fasteners in, so we're only going to go 2 fasteners here because, like I said, the least amount of fasteners on the roof is the better. So I'm going to grab a fastener and we're going to follow the shingle pattern close to the bottom, so where when you put your flat bar up underneath there, it's easy to pry up and you only have a little bit of room to put your sealant when you push it back down. So we're about 1 inch up on the shingle. We're going to put one right there, and that's going to secure your base and your trap. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Put your little fastener there too, about 1 inch up off the shingle. So that way when you lift up your shingle to patch the hole, you can get your sealant or your tar underneath the shingle, press it down, so that way water's not going to leak in. And then of course I forgot, I ran out of trash bags too, so I can't put a trash bag over top of this trap to make it look less intimidating. But so we're gonna set the trap. I'm gonna go in my Wawa sandwich pocket and grab my Wawa turkey sandwich that I had for lunch today. Didn't finish, but I guess that's probably good. There we go. Let's go ahead and reset that again. And also, what I like to do for these tomahawk traps to get these raccoons to actually go in and grab that bait is I like to put a piece of rebar right through the middle. So that way the raccoon has to either climb over or climb under or crawl under this piece of rebar in order to grab that bait. And with that amount of room between the rebar and the bottom of the trap, it's bound to hit that trigger plate and close the trap door. So we got the baited open trap about a foot away from the entry point, and this is the most traditional way to catch a raccoon. I usually like to use the flush mounts or the 220s to pretty much guarantee a catch, but this should work fine. But it's, you know, it's just not a method I typically use. Excuse me. It is the next morning and we got the raccoon. He done pulled the rebar out of the trap. Yeah. You can see just how much he was trying to get out and pull that aluminum. So no shingles were damaged, that's good. All right, we'll get you out of here. I guess raccoons do not like pickles. No pickles for this guy. Okay, so we're back here at the raccoon job, and it's the exclusion day, and we're going to exclude all 4 of those static vents up there. The reason why we call them static vents is because there's no mechanics up there. There's no fans that turn on and circulate air like a regular attic fan. Those are purely just up there to you know, circulate air in the attic naturally. That's what we use. The black powder coated steel static vent covers, and I'm going to show you how to install them. It's fairly simple. You got some slots to put your screws, and the same up here too on these tabs, and let's get to it. So it's been about a week since we caught the first raccoon. There's been no activity inside the house, reporting with the customer, and there's no activity in the trap. Let's go ahead and close that, remove this, patch up those screw holes, and then get started on the install. Just a little piece of flashing, some solar seal. Go on the bottom, lift that tab up, and then put your flashing right there. Same thing on this side. Be careful not to break those shingles, because when it's cold out they will break, they'll snap, so be mindful of that too. So you got that, and get you some juice right there on the bottom, and on the end of the tab again, and right there. Press that down, make a little bit of come up, and take your excess, kind of smooth that over, so that way we're not getting any water going into those holes, and these shingles won't come up anymore. So that's the way I like to patch the holes. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You put the vent over top, you get your rubber gasket roof screws, coat the screws in solar seal or whatever sealant you want to use. You can use roof tar. This is meant for roofing. And we're gonna put a dab underneath of all of your slots that you're gonna put a screw in, and also coat the screw in the sealant as well. And I mean, a lot of people are, you know, gonna say this isn't the right way to do it. I mean, these gaskets on the screw are designed to shed the water off. So with the gasket and the amount of sealant that I'm gonna put underneath and over top, we shouldn't have any issues. All right, so we went ahead and made our mark where to put the sealant on the bottom. Then we're gonna take the screw and we're just gonna coat that bad boy like that. Get a nice coverage on your screw. That. Tool all around here, kind of go over top of that screw. Okay, so here's what it looks like all installed. We got 4 screws on the bottom, 2 on top. And I mean, when I tell you these things are heavy duty, I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's physically impossible for any animal, even a raccoon, the biggest raccoon you can ever imagine, to ever take this thing off. I mean, this will stay on your roof through a hurricane. I can almost guarantee it. But yeah, this is the way to go to keep the animals out, especially larger game like raccoons. They won't be able to tear this off. It's powder coated steel again. So strongest, most heavy duty thing you can put on the roof to exclude from animals. All right, these are all done. All 4 static vents are covered. There's no other areas that raccoons can potentially get into in this house. And also we've trapped the raccoon that was a problem that was familiar with this house. This home is now raccoon free. Thanks for watching.